provides me the opportunity to bring a more informed voice to the board table. I understand the role of a board member in setting policies and ensuring that the board engages in continual self-evaluation for growth and development of the entire board, as well as to promote continual assessment within the college community. Thank you.
Ms. Madrid.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. I know you're all very busy, and thank the faculty for putting on this event. I appreciate it. And I want to let you know that all of these people that are running are very well qualified, and would all do a better job than the incumbent. This incumbent has not had any interest other than his own. He has not represented the city, he hasn't represented the students, and he hasn't done a good job on in the trust that he's been given. And the only reason I decided to run is because I saw behind a bus in downtown Los Angeles an advertisement that's Santa Monica Community College, #1 in transfers to USC. Pretty good. #1 in transfers to UCLA. That's pretty good. #1 in transfers to all Cal States. #1 in transfers to all UCs. So that means we need a drastic change in leadership. Why is Citrus not one of those? What is missing? How do we have to shift the kaleidoscope to have our students go on more rapidly and more easily to other higher education institutions? My family members have come to Citrus. Well, my father graduated from Citrus when it was Citrus Community High School back in, I think, the 1930s. My family members have come to Citrus. Some had to stay longer because when they went to counseling, they ended up being placed on the AA track, even though they thought they were going on to a four-year school. So it took them a little bit longer because there's a gap someplace. That people come in here, such as Norma Garcia, who's on the Rio Hondo Board of Trustees now, Norma Garcia, and she said she came here telling the counselor she's going to go to a four-year school. They said, good, here's your classes. And they put her in the AA track. Luckily, a UCLA coordinator was here, and he said, you know what, after the semester, none of these classes transfer. Try these classes. So it took her an additional semester. And she went to UCLA, and she got her BA, and she got her master's, and now she's on the board. So what I bring is I bring leadership. I bring a way of doing things differently. I have an ability to change the kaleidoscope. I was a mayor, I was elected. I know what it takes to change organizations and to create that community bond. I have a strong bond to Azusa, a strong bond to Duarte, and there's the best. Thank you.
Thank you. The second question, and we'll begin with Ms. Milner in this case. The second question is, what qualifies you to represent Citrus College Area 1, which includes the city of Azusa and portions of Duarte? Ms. Milner.
First and foremost, I live in Azusa. There is no question of my residency or the place I call my home. You will see me running errands. I'm a regular Costco member and supporter. I eat at La Loteca on an almost weekly basis. My roots are very strong. 17-year homeowner, first-time homeowner in Azusa, but my connections extend beyond Azusa, well into Duarte as well. My family migrated from Ohio to Duarte back in the 50s. My grandfather had seen his last cold Ohio winter, and like most, watched the Tournament of Roses on TV and headed to Southern California. My father and his 5 brothers and sisters are all graduates of Duarte High School. My grandfather was a U.S. postal carrier, retiring from the Duarte Post Office. I have numerous family and friends still living in Duarte. I know and love my San Gabriel Valley community greatly. When I announced my candidacy, I was asked a question of why I was running and what significance does Citrus College, or the board for that matter, have on the community. I thought back about 2 years ago when I first decided to run, and I thought about how busy my time is. I am a mom of a 6-year-old son, so my daily commitments are very busy, and how fulfilling my role and my leadership has been on Azusa's Planning Commission in shaping and developing the prosperous city of Azusa we all know and appreciate today. I knew, though, that the decision not to run would be an acknowledgement that the educational development of our citizens did not play an important role in Azusa's future, when in fact it does. I knew that a decision not to run would be me admitting that the needs and representation of our community have been properly addressed, when in fact it has not for some time. There is a vital relationship between...
Thank you. Dr. Dickerson.
Yes, when I chose to make Azusa my hometown also, I immediately became active in many service organizations so that I could better understand how I could contribute to my new community. My role in the Azusa Women's Club has allowed me to gain an insight into the financial needs of our students as we raise funds toward scholarships. I also found Seroptimus of Azusa Glendora to be another group which provided me a wider understanding of the local non-traditional student. Seroptimus provides scholarships to women who are head of household and returning to school. I also was excited to become chair of the scholarship to younger women through Seroptimus of Azusa, who are young women who are actively engaged in their community in community service. So my passion for education, my involvement in my city, our community, led others to ask me to run for the governing board of the Azusa Unified School District. As a result, I'm just finishing my second term as a member of that board. And while these are just a few examples of my community engagement, the engagement that has had the greatest impact on me as a resident of Azusa has been my affiliation with an Azusa nonprofit called Neighborhood Homework House. At first, I volunteered, I was a consultant, and later served as the chair of the board of directors. 4 years ago, I resigned my position with Arizona State University to become executive director of this organization. As a result of my daily interactions, I've come to know the dreams, concerns, fears of several of the families in Azusa as it relates to higher education. I'm also intimately aware of the knowledge needed for our students to be successful in college. I have worked with organizations, the city council, and local businesses to promote Azusa students. And as to Duarte, my knowledge has come through my affiliation with social service agencies and educational leaders in Duarte. I've also have a good relationship with a longtime Bradbury resident, and will use all of these relationships in Duarte to gain a better understanding of the unique needs of their students, as well as to provide access to forums.
Thank you. Ms. Madrid.
Well, I didn't choose to live in Azusa. My grandfather chose that. My great-grandfather chose that for us over 100 years ago. My great-grandparents came with my grandfather, and my grandmother came from San Diego. And my father was born here, my mother was born in Baldwin Park, so I was born here in Azusa. I went to Azusa schools. My sister graduated from Citrus as a dental hygienist, which they had a program and she was licensed to be a dental hygienist. I was on the board here at Citrus, the foundation. I got to know Pat Rasmussen and got to work with the presidents back then with Dr. Lou Zellers, who this building is named after, who's now probably on the road. And got to know Dr. Yeri when we were working on the bond measure, so we could have the beautiful buildings you're in now, because there's a bond measure that was passed that I participated in. And the city of Azusa had the highest approval rate because of their commitment to education and commitment to this community. I've had a lot of family members that work here at Citrus, and a lot of families that have gone here to school here at this location. I know people in Duarte very well. I know the elected officials in Duarte. A lot of them are long-term elected. So there's John Fasana, he's been there a long time. I know a lot of that leadership there, and some of the members of the school board and some residents there. So my relationship with Citrus is long-lived. My connections here are long-lived, and my ability to succeed in education myself personally, to go to law school when I was pregnant with a child, to know what effort it takes to go to law school, to pass the bar, the effort that took to prepare for that. So I know what kind of support is required to be able to do those things, but I also know that Azusa students and Duarte students are capable of that. There's no reason for them to be discouraged. There's no reason they should have to take qualifying exams when there's test scores or their grades indicate that they could go on and have a placement exactly in the class without having to take a subsequent test again. So what qualifies me is that I have commitment to this community, a connection to this community that's long-lived, and that it's proven, a proven track record of getting things done, of working in cooperation with others, and of seeing the long view. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rios.
Yes, I retired in 1996 from the community college and took a couple of years off from being active. Prior to that, I was active for the city of Santa Ana, UC Irvine, and of course, college. You get burned out after being involved for a while, so I took a couple of years off. I didn't know what was happening in Azusa, so I wanted to know what's happening to city schools and community college, and I kept reading on information of what was happening. But I feel very strong that any citizen that has concerns should have the right to vote for something they believe in. And I believe that I can do something for Citrus College, introduce different ideas that we need to progress, because our local schools are changing their systems again to core education, or what they call it. Are we preparing for that? And how is it going to affect the students coming to Citrus College? And if we're not doing the change to help them, I think we should reach out to the schools and see how can we work together to bring more students from the local high schools into our college that are not prepared to go to a four-year college. And try to cut down the time they're going to be here from 3 to 4 years to 2 years. You know, something's happening, it takes a student 3 years or more to finish a 2-year college. I know space is there, money is involved, but I think we can do a better job in doing that. That's why I feel very strong to be committed to Citrus College to improve that on the benefit of our students and future students. Thank you.
Thank you. Our third question, and responses will begin here with Dr. Dickerson. The third question is, what do you believe are the biggest challenges facing Citrus College?
Yes, the overarching challenge noted in the information guide from the President's Circle of the Foundation was that of educating and training a workforce that could compete in a global economy. So this stated challenge provides a larger framework to highlight at least 6 challenges. Given the time constraints, I'll briefly outline each one. The first challenge is the volatility of state funding for the community colleges. The community colleges are